Hi, Kerry here with Best of Us Investors. I hope you've noticed there's some changes going on with Best of Us Investors in that I have put on some additional presenters and will continue to put on additional presenters. And if you'll notice, they don't always agree with me. I have a specific investment philosophy. I am investing truly for my children and my grandchildren. So I'm looking long term. The other thing that comes into my scheme of investing is my hate for cancer and my belief that we are on the verge of taking cancer and many of the diseases out of our bodies so that we can live longer and healthier lives. And this has been brought about by some reading that I have done that I've referred to, and the books that I read are in the description, and you can follow up on them. And the first one is called Lifespan, and that was what opened my eyes up to say that, Gary, we don't need to die from the diseases that kill us. And if we can remove those diseases that kill us, we can live longer and more productive lives. All we then need to worry about is replacement parts, much as the same with my BMW. So I am very strong on that. At the same time, I recognize that not everybody thinks like I do, not everybody wants to invest like I do. And so that's why I've brought on Trent and Mark and Jacob and Norok. And I just watched a video that Norok is putting out on Wednesday today about signals that the market gives when the earnings come out, and it really lit me up because right now I'm pretty high on finding an entry point for Facebook. I believe that Facebook is going to be with us, but in a different form in the future. But I think it's a major player because, again, it owns the talent, it owns the money, and it owns the eyeballs. It merely needs to give some younger eyeballs a reason to come. And I think the metaverse will do that. So first of all, I want to take you to my computer and show you a chart on TradingView that I've created relative to Facebook, and then how I'm going to pick my entry point, and then how I'm going to alert myself when that entry point is met. So let's first of all get out of the way that I'm not your financial advisor, and then we'll go directly to my computer screen.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, as I said, I am high on the opportunity to buy into Facebook because I think Facebook, whether it's in the current form of Facebook or Meta, is going to be a big opportunity, a big player for my grandchildren. And with that in mind, I took some learnings from Norok in his last Wednesday's video as to how to read a earnings report and the trading of the stocks and see an opportunity to buy in. And what I'm showing you here now is the TradingView chart on Meta, and you can see, just as Norok said, that when on earnings day the stock trades up to a new high but closes low, it's a signal that it's going to crash. And what a crash it did occur. As you see, it dropped here and it continues to drop. So with that in mind, I thought, okay, how do I identify the right place to buy back in? Where is the bottom on this? It's already down 44.6%. And I come over here and I see this gap. If you've been with me a long time, you know I like to look for gaps because I think they're going to be filled. And that gap is looking to be at right about $196 a share. So if I bring this down to 196, that's going to end up with a loss of roughly 49% from its high back in August 31st of 2021. So I'm looking at this and saying, okay, I've learned from Norok from his video last Wednesday. Now, how can I use that to my advantage? And I believe I can then set a price of 196. So then how do I use that? Or what other tool can I bring in besides TradingView? And maybe they have an alert. I don't know. I'll ask Norok about that. But I do know that I can go over here to my Seeking Alpha, and because I'm a premium member, there's a bell here, and I can click on that bell, and it gives me the ability to set an alert. And I have set an alert there for $196. And as a result of that, trading or Seeking Alpha will send me both an email and a text to say that, hey, your alert was in at 196. It's there. Go make your decision whether you're going to buy or not. So these are, again, tools that I wasn't aware of, and that by bringing these other presenters in, it's broadening my scope of how to use this computer, this magnificent internet system that I have at my disposal for basically free or a very small payment to alert me for things that I'm interested in. Again, I want to emphasize, I'm not buying Facebook for my grandchildren based on what Facebook is today. Because to be very honest, none of my grandchildren use Facebook. They use Snapchat. But I just don't believe that Facebook is going to give up or relinquish its ownership. And that's what I mean. Its ownership of the social media network. And I believe that Mark and his talented crew will adapt what is Facebook to Meta. And I will be making a decision that my grandchildren will look back on and say, wow, Poppy was really on top of that one because Facebook came back strong. Again, I'm looking to buy in about 196. And again, I will continue to watch it. I will continue to watch Norok to see if he gives me any more tips that will, again, broaden my knowledge base. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Okay, that pretty much summarizes my feelings or my strategy for making a additional entry into Facebook. I already own about $70,000 on it. I was up substantially. I'm now about even, but that's okay. Again, I'm looking at this and saying the market right now is going through some turmoil. Now, is that relative to why Facebook has dropped so dramatically? No. The uncertainty in Facebook is all around what Apple did. They basically said to all their Apple phone users, we will no longer allow Facebook to track your purchases when you click on an ad on your iPhone. So let me just explain that to you so you understand. When you go, if you own an iPhone and you go to Facebook and you see an ad on there and say, wow, I'm interested in that, and you click on it, Facebook knows you clicked on it. But from that point on, the data that is collected moves into the silo owned by the app maker and Apple. So whether you buy something or not, Facebook doesn't know. And this is critical data to the advertiser on Facebook, but that isn't available anymore. It is still available on the Android phones, which represent 85% of the market, but this created a fear, and we saw it in a 45% drop in price. So that's what's going on. Now, is there a way to get around that? Is there a workaround? Well, of course there is. And I'm quite sure that Mark and his team is working on it. And one of the suggestions I would make to Mark and his team is, why don't you then, rather than depend on Apple to give you this information, why don't you depend on the credit cards, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discovery, whatever credit cards. And now you create an alliance and access their data that says, okay, we know that Kerry on his iPhone clicked on this carpet that we were adding because we're remodeling our house and we need some Oriental rugs. But did he buy it? Well, we don't know. But my credit card company knows I bought it. My American Express card knows that I bought it. So that would be a way that Mark can do a workaround and push to the side the bad news that came right after his earnings. Okay? So that's okay. Now, the other element that kind of ditched the price was that he said he was going to spend, I think it was $10 billion in the next year to gear up for the metaverse. And that kind of puzzles me. When Elon said he was going to he was going to spend billions to create an electric vehicle, everybody thought, hooray, all right, they're not making any money, but let's throw some dollars at them anyway. It's all in perception. And I just, trust me, Facebook isn't going away. And yes, my grandson, Aiden, and Emma, my granddaughter, and Haley, my granddaughter, do not use Facebook. They don't. They use Snapchat. They use Instagram, which happens to be owned by Facebook. But nonetheless, I believe when we get down to the presentation of the metaverse, the big brands are going to be on the big brands, the big social media. They aren't going to go to the sandbox where they're going to be exposed to whatever, from pornography to weed to gambling to whatever. The big brands don't want to be associated with that. So they're going to present their products. If it were me presenting my products, I don't want you to be anywhere around. I don't want to be associated with pornography. I don't want to. So I'm not going to go to the sandbox or Disneyland or whatever that other one is. So I believe Facebook's going to be the winner there. That's what I'm betting on. And that's a long-term bet. But also, I have created a strategy to say, I want to buy back in at 190 or add to my holdings at 196. I've shown you how I will get an alert from that. I'm sure there's other ways to get an alert. And I'm asking you to add to that base of knowledge. Come to Best of Us Investors. Give me your email address and your name. I'll send you a link to our Discord, and you can come and share your knowledge with me. I can share my knowledge with you, and you can also learn from the other 20,000 people that are there. All right. This is exciting. I just think it's so exciting that I now have a channel that is bigger than Kerry. And there's a reason that this channel is called Best of Us Investors. And it's not called The Kerry Grinkmeyer Show or Meet Kerry. The reason is I learned a long time ago why Apple is not called the Steve Jobs product, and Microsoft is not called Bill Gates's Bill Gates's theater. It's because their founders wanted to live on beyond them. I believe we only get one go round here, and I want to leave something behind. And what I'm doing on a daily basis now will guarantee that Kerry Grinkmeyer, in some form, will never die. My grandkids, my great-grandkids, some people who don't even know who I am or care who I am right now, in the year 2050, might say, wow, that dude was right on. Okay, leave something behind. It's so important. I don't know a damn thing about my grandfathers. because they didn't leave anything behind. Talk to you again tomorrow.